Hi Hunters, Marneus here. After my last video on guard and guard up, I noticed a lot of comments about chip damage while guarding. Many of you mentioned that guard or guard up affects how much chip damage you take, and while that's partially true for guard up, specifically when it comes to blocking grabs or other unblockable attacks, when we're talking about normal chip damage from regular monster attacks, that's actually not the case. In this video, we're going to break down exactly how chip damage works, what really causes you to take more or less of it, and whether guard actually does anything to reduce chip damage at all. Before I proceed, this video is actually a follow-up to my previous one, the truth about guard and guard up. If you haven't seen that yet, be sure to check it out first because this video builds directly on what we discussed there. Now, veteran hunters in the series should know that your defense stat is what actually influences the chip damage you take when guarding a monster's attack. The higher your defense, the less chip damage you'll receive. Some attacks, like Steve's double swipe, will always cause chip damage no matter what. Even if you perfect guard with guard in your build, you'll still take some chip from that move, because guard doesn't reduce chip damage. Sure, guard 1 can help reduce some of the initial chip damage when compared to running no guard at all, but once you invest more points into guard, the amount of chip you take stays the same. And that's really the main goal of this video, to explain how chip damage actually works and hopefully clear up the misconception that guard is the factor reducing chip damage. So let's begin by looking at how your defense stat actually influences chip damage. Based on what we saw, it's quite clear that the defense stat is the main factor influencing the chip damage you take when guarding an attack. Of course, if you perfect guard, as we've already established, you won't take any chip damage at all, even without guard equipped. That also means the training dummy isn't the best target to test perfect guard alongside guard, since we can't actually generate chip damage from it. So to really test this properly, we need to take it into the field. And what better monster to try it on than Steve? Let's see how it looks in a real hunt. As you can already tell, there's fundamentally no difference in the chip damage we take, even when running max guard and perfect guarding Steve's double swipe. The only real difference is in stamina drain, which we've already established is exactly where guard comes into play, reducing the amount of stamina consumed when blocking. So when it comes to chip damage, guard isn't the factor. Your defense stat is. Now, of course, I could go armorless and test the chip damage that way, but let's be real, I don't think anyone would be insane enough to go armorless against any monster. And honestly, from the training dummy test, we can already conclude that it's your defense stat that influences the chip damage you take. So there's really no need to put myself through that kind of pain. I also want to take a moment to respond to some of the feedback from the last video regarding guard up. Now, I completely understand if you want to max out guard. It does have value, even if the difference between level 2 and level 3 is pretty negligible. But when it comes to guard up, once again, it only works on unblockable attacks, not regular blockable ones. That sweet 80% damage reduction the skill description mentions doesn't apply to chip damage from normal blockable moves. And even then, most of those unblockable moves are usually pretty easy to avoid with good positioning. I get it if you want to run guard up 1 for very specific monsters like Zoshia, Gravios, Steve, or New Udra, since they have breath attacks or grabs that can't be blocked without it, and they love to spam those moves. But guard up 3? That's really not necessary. At that point, you're sacrificing offensive skills for something that only comes into play maybe 4% of the monster roster's moveset. So is it really worth that kind of trade-off? And for those of you who commented saying, well, I'm not a speedrunner, I don't care about optimal play, I just like having guard up 3 in my build. This isn't about speedrunning or chasing perfect optimization. It's about building smarter, understanding the actual value you're getting from your skills, and making better choices for your hunts. So, to wrap things up, guard is great for stamina management and reducing knockback, but it doesn't actually affect chip damage. That's determined by your defense stat. And while guard up does its job against unblockable attacks, it doesn't reduce normal chip damage either, which is why I think it's only worth running at 1 level or skipping entirely. Hopefully this clears up some of the misconceptions I saw after the last video. But what do you think? Do you run guard up in your builds, or do you rely on defense and positioning instead? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to keep the discussion going. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more Gunlance guides and discussions, and check out the Discord. Links in the description. Thanks for watching, hunters. I'm Marneus, and I'll see you in the next hunt.